I'm Jessica's sister, and I'm going to be recording and be her audience tonight. If someone said that you, as one person, you will have a huge effect on what will happen in our future, would you believe them? My name is Jessica Ream, and I'll be talking about youth and adult relationships tonight. In the article, Building Effective Youth-Adult Partnerships by Jane Norman, 2001, she writes this finding. Youth development is defined as an ongoing growth process in which youth are engaged in attempting to meet their basic needs, personal and social needs to be safe, feel cared for, be valued, be useful, and be spiritually grounded, and build their skills and their competencies that allow them to function and contribute to their daily lives. Contributing to be a positive and active role in youth's lives may have a dramatic impact. Relationships play a vital role in our everyday lives. One of the most important relationships is those between youth and adults. Knowing how to accomplish this the importance of this are in three primary areas: communication, ability to teach effectively, and support. This will lead to being effective and active in our generations in the future. The first of this is communications. Teens are entering a phase of life where they have a strong desire to limit how much information they disclose about themselves, says Barbara Greenberg, 2017, from a U.S. News article. In this article, it goes over a few tips about how to effectively communicate with your youth as an adult. We're going to go over 4 of those. One of them being ask subtle and indirect questions. What this means is that when you're going to engage in a conversation with a youth and it is question-based, instead of going directly for a hit, like who was at the party or what drugs were at the party, you ease into it a little bit more indirectly, saying, were your friends at the party? Was it the normal crowd? What kind of activities did you do? And as you build that repertoire with the youth, asking these indirect questions, they don't feel attacked or like you're seeking something out, and it'll grow and help you develop an open honesty and have them then answer harder questions as you move forward. The next one is listen, and continue listening without interrupting. This is hard for all adults, whether it be with youth, children, or other adults, to be patient enough to just sit back and listen to somebody fully. This is very vital in a youth-adult relationship because once you start interrupting or correcting or over-speaking on a youth, they become removed and they feel rejected, and therefore they will not be open to communication any longer. So it's very important that you can sit and listen and wait for them to finish a complete thought or sentence and then go ahead and speak. Number 3, do not be overly emotional. This is a very hard one as well because our natural reaction is to act on emotion. So if something makes us angry or sad or upset, we want to react with those emotions. It's extremely important to try to keep that maintained and listen fully, and then go ahead and tell the youth that what feelings you're feeling instead of acting them out. So when they say something that may distress you, you're going to let them know that upsets you and that you are upset, but you're willing to have a conversation continuing about it instead of reacting out of emotion. This will develop a bridge of honesty and respect between each other, and you'll be fully able to hear one another out. Number 4, try very hard to not be judgmental. This is extremely hard because as adults, we have gone through a lot of experiences. When we're talking to youth, we want to jump to the fact that we already know what they're going to say, and so we're judging them for the actions. We have to remember that all of us have gone through things in order for us to be able to be that judgmental because of the reaction that we've had when we went through it. So as we're speaking to our youth, we want to try really hard to hear them out and see why they're doing it and advocate for different decisions moving forward instead of judging them on the decisions already made. So being able to communicate effectively then leads into the next step of teaching effectively. To be able to communicate and teach, they go hand in hand. Don't scream, belittle, or humiliate, rather enact appropriate consequences in a rational manner, advises Russell Hicken. The way to do this is 1, the ability to teach effectively starts with youth wanting to learn from you. You have to build a sense of trust again in a youth if they are ever going to actually learn from you. We can sit there and speak at them all day long and tell them how things are going to go, but unless they're willing to be open-minded and vulnerable, they will actually not take in any information that we're trying to give them. We have to build on that by being patient and kind of re-going over and over and over again this information so that they can get it and they trust us that what we're saying is for their benefit and not just to speak at them. Number 2, the way an adult acts and speaks is the first way a youth's brain takes in information, and then it will process. If an adult is acting and expecting a youth to do the opposite, it will not be effective. This is saying that the whole do as I say, not as I do movement that adults seem to have. You can't go out smoking and drinking because you're an adult and then tell your children that they are not allowed to do that either because you're an adult, you can. The first thing that a brain does is, especially in a child or a youth, is they watch what's happening around them. That's how they learn most. They first see an action happening, and especially if it's repetitive action, that's how they begin to develop and learn that habit. And then they go ahead and want to do that because that's a learned thing. If you are acting one way and expecting them to be different, it will never be effective. And more than likely, they will follow in suit and do the wrong things if you're doing the wrong things. As adults, we have to set the tone, and we have to understand that this is a manner in which that we have a direct impact is by our actions. Number 3, quality time is face-to-face time. So what that means is that with all the social media and screen time that we have going on, it's harder and harder to have a real conversation with a youth. It's harder to have a real developed relationship with a youth because they feel more confident behind a screen. A screen allows them to say what they want without reaction. A screen allows them to be present in what they choose only to be present in, or learn only what they're trying to learn in. So to have a very foundational relationship with a youth, it's important to have one-on-one time, face-to-face, interacting, physically doing things, face-to-face, actually having deep conversation or regular conversation, but being present, showing them what it means to have eye contact, physical contact, interaction. It's really, that is actual quality time because they're actually learning it from their humane side. And the last of this you can't really get without effective communication and teaching them effectively is support. Support is a huge statement piece in when it comes to youth and adult relationships. Opportunities for meaningful involvement and participation, such as are found in youth-adult partnerships, may provide youth with opportunities to develop and or strengthen his or her internal locus of control, says Jay Norman. With that being said, that we all have this inner being about us that says yes or no, right or wrong, how do we decide things? And it's extremely important, found in this article, that if a youth has a partnership with an adult and that is strong and supportive and doesn't lead, then they know that they can make mistakes and they can go to that person to get the positive reinforcement and guiding that they need to make better decisions in the future. On here it says, number 1, adults need to create an opportunity to be invested in one another's lives with value and respect. With that, it says that you need to respect and value a youth's opinion, viewpoints, knowledge, and abilities the way that you would like them to value yours. They have a lot to offer, and we as adults have to interact with that as value and respect. Number 2, be consistent in showing up and being present for different aspects of a youth's life, building a strong, reliable, and trusting foundation. So in a support network, that means being active in different parts of a youth's life, not just one or another. So that's going to whether it be a baseball game, a recital, a band practice, a choir concert. Being active in their extracurriculars is extremely important because you show up and you cheer them on and you support them in an activity that they're interested in. Another way is to have one-on-one conversations that gives them quality time that isn't distracted by anything else. Again, going into that teach effectively, moving over into support. And lastly, it shows that you're consistent. It needs to be a long-term thing, not just short-term and quick. It has to be a long-term effect so that they can build a foundation of trust and knowing that you will be there no matter what. So with the 3 things of communication, teaching effectively, and support, we are able to, as adults, pour into youth and adult relationships, creating strong foundations and therefore allowing them to be a stronger generation moving forward. This will change our world. The President of the United States, Bill Gates, and a couple other very important people were only one person, but they were affected strongly by a group of adults around them that either enhanced or encouraged their motivations and their passions, allowing them to be changers of the world. So will you be that one person who directly or indirectly has an effect on our world?